Yeah, I know, I'm fucking sunburned and I look like shit. Fucking hair, look at this shit. Look at this fucking shit. Jesus fucking Christ. I spent the whole fucking day at the beach and got sunburned because I forgot to put on my fucking sunscreen, and now I'm all pissed off. I'm not gonna be pissed off though, because I'm reviewing a movie I like today. All right, we're gonna talk about Rocketman, the Elton John movie, which is a fucking great movie. I love this movie. This is probably one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I enjoy Elton John's music. I'm an Elton Johner, if you will. So I was excited for this movie, especially after last year with Bohemian Rhapsody being not good. And with that, let's compare these two movies because there's no way we can get through a conversation about Rocketman without comparing it to Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody isn't very good. It's not like the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. But in terms of being a biopic about Queen, it's really poorly handled. The biggest problem is probably its PG-13 rating. The band was very adamant, but by the band I mean Queen, Brian May and all those other guys. They were very adamant about making sure they had control over this movie, and they wanted it. There was a point I heard where they wanted it to be PG, you know, and so they probably wanted it to tame it down, I guess, for younger Queen fans to enjoy too, But it's a complete detriment to the film because now you can't go into the nitty gritty of the life of this band and the life more specifically of Freddie Mercury, which Rocketman actually excels at. And because that film, Rocketman, is an R-rated movie. I was asked to show my ID, which is like the first time I've ever been asked to show my ID for an R-rated movie. I'm like, guy, look at my face. Does this look like the face of a man who's younger than 17? No, this is the face of an adult. An adult. Look at my fucking face. Anyway, they do a great job. They show Elton doing hardcore drugs, drinking while taking prescription drugs for recreational use. I don't know much about drug use, so I probably sound like a fucking narc right now, but it shows Elton John having sex with shit tons of people. There's like I read on Wikipedia, it's like the first mainstream movie to have a gay sex scene. That's pretty cool. It's a great film, and the fact that it's R-rated truly, I think, helps it. Also the fact that it's much less conventional than Bohemian Rhapsody was. Bohemian Rhapsody, which was much more like a safe, like by the numbers biopic. This Rocketman, it's definitely still kind of that by the numbers biopic a little bit, but I think the fact that it went for more of a fantasy musical angle helps it to kind of keep itself away from being the boring stereotypical biopic about coming to fame. Then it's like, what about the music, man? And then like the main characters split up, and the band's over, and then they come back together at the end because it's about the music, man. It's about each other, man. This kind of happens in the movie Rocketman, in which Elton John and his lyricist decide to go their separate ways, but it's handled much better than Queen because in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie they do it, but in real life Queen never really actually broke up, from what I can tell, the way the movie showed it. So that's just it just goes to show how much of a boring by the numbers biopic Bohemian Rhapsody is. Also, the editing is way better in Rocketman because the editing in Bohemian Rhapsody was pretty bad. It was like there are plenty of videos discussing the editing of the movie. I'm not good at describing editing other than there was this shot that was bad and this shot that was bad because it was in the wrong, it was in a strange order and characters look at it. I'm bad at that. Go watch a video about it online. But yeah, just the editing was awful. And don't bring up the Oscar for best editing. Well, did Bohemian Rhapsody win that? I think they did. Cause I think they did, and that was a laughable moment. If there's anything Bohemian Rhapsody does better, I guess nothing really. Even the performance of Rami Malek compared to Taron Egerton, whatever his name is. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he's a good boy. He does a really good job singing. I'll get to that in a minute. But they are both equally good. I do think that Taron is going to get an Oscar nomination. Whether or not he gets that Oscar, we'll just have to see where the rest of the year goes. Oscar season will come up in the next couple of months soon. But I think that's about it in terms of comparing the two movies. Let's just talk about Rocketman. Rocketman, like I said, is a great movie. It tells a very dark, well, not very dark, but this is a very dark and adult film about a man's life, and it's super interesting too, especially seeing his relationship with his parents and how that kind of shapes him into this guy who has a lot of issues in terms of feeling fulfilled as a person who wants to feel loved. It's very well done in that respect. And again, the acting in this movie is really good. The Taron obviously sells it. The kid actor who plays the teenage, not the young Elton John, but the teenage Elton John, he's pretty good. He's pretty good at what he did. And then you had Bryce Dallas Howard as Elton John's mom. She was pretty good. Elton John's dad was pretty good. And then the grandma was pretty good too. What's his name? Tobin Bell. Maybe. Toby, the guy who played the thing in the Fant4stic movie. He was really good as Elton John's lyricist. He's really good too, and he's got great hair in that movie. I wish I had that hair. To be fair, I cut all that hair away, so I have to wait again. Well, whatever. And obviously the music's gonna be great because it's all Elton John songs, and they're all done really, really well. There's the only probably bad moment in the music is in Rocketman. On the sound, this part doesn't appear on the soundtrack. If you've listened to the Rocketman soundtrack, which I suggest you do, even if you haven't seen the movie, because it's really fucking good. This is great music with a great vocal performances, because it's not just solos by Taron. A lot of great vocal performances behind the music, but in the film version of Rocketman, it's a scene in which Elton, he does a bunch of drugs, he drinks a whole bunch, and he goes outside where people are having a party at his mansion. He gets on the diving board of his pool, and he says he's gonna fucking kill himself, and he jumps into the water, and then it's the song Rocketman. And at the bottom of the pool, Elton sees the little 5 or 6 year old version of himself, and they asked this kid to sing the opening of Rocketman, and it's not great. But I'm not going to give this kid shit, because you're asking a child to sing Elton John, which is a huge challenge. Because it's Elton John. No, Elton John is a very talented man, and I'm not gonna expect a kid who's 6 years old to be singing Elton John very well. But I'm not gonna dock points for that. I just thought it's it's a moment. It's a moment, definitely. one other thing I thought of to compare Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocketman, the soundtracks are very important. Not so much the music, but how they used the music. Because again, Bohemian Rhapsody uses the songs of Queen more like a soundtrack, and they play the songs in the background in some scenes. Other songs are them singing at concerts, and it's all pre-recorded. It's all the original Queen music. You know, it's stuff you. If you compare the songs on the Bohemian Rhapsody soundtrack to the original recordings on, if you have like an old CD of Queen lying around, it'll sound pretty much. It'll sound the exact same. But with Rocketman, they had the cast sing these songs, which is a very interesting choice, and I think it works. Each movie, I think, works in terms of their soundtrack, at least in terms of the vocals, because no one is going to recreate the vocal power of Freddie Mercury, because that's just not fucking possible, okay? That's like, you'll never find another vocal performer like Freddie Mercury. However, with Rocketman, they had the cast sing, and I think it works in this movie too. You know, it's because it's still strong. It's still strong performances. You know, it's not like, you know, Elton John. As much as I love him, he's no Freddie Mercury in terms of his voice. So I think it would be easier to be able to find someone to record their own versions of the songs using their own singing voice. Okay, and that's what they did, and it works really well. It's also, I think, the way they treat the soundtrack more like a fantasy musical instead of just playing songs in the background is also it was a I enjoyed it. It was really good, and it helps, again, it helps it stand out from being just a normal generic rock band biopic. So that was really cool. Um, I don't know. I just, are there any negatives about this movie? Eh, not really. There are a couple of the cinematography is okay. I guess it's not super great cinematography, but I don't know. I guess I'm just like fucking spoiled by movies like a, you know, like a Quentin Tarantino movie, or you know, I saw Blade Runner 2049 for the first time. That looks fucking gorgeous. You know, Wes Anderson stuff like that. I'm just spoiled by that shit maybe, but you know, the cinematography, it's fine. Uh, it's better during the more musical scenes. Um, there are also a couple moments. I specifically remember it during the "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" musical number, in which Elton sings a song with his ex-wife, or not his ex-wife at the time of that the film takes place, but his ex-wife like right now in real life. I guess that movie is technically real life too. He has an ex-wife, okay? And in the movie, we see them get married, and before we see them get married, they sing a duet of "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." And it looks very much dubbed, at least on the ex-wife's end, the wife's end, whatever I want to call her. I don't care. And yeah, you can clearly see that the mouth, it doesn't really match with the song. Not so much in terms of the lip movement. Like it looks pretty matched up. It's more the vocal power. Like you can tell, like there's something about it that just doesn't look right. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and my eyes are just fucking weird. It wouldn't surprise me, and it's actually perfect. But to me, it just looked a little off in terms of like syncing. Maybe it was just the fact that it sounds like she's singing more powerfully than her mouth makes it look. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch this movie again, which I definitely will. I'm gonna buy this on Blu-ray and I'm gonna just watch the shit out of it. But yeah, I think that's about it. There's not really much else to say. It's just a really solid, great film, and I suggest you all see it. I wouldn't be surprised to see this get a few Oscar nominations. Definitely one for Taron as Elton John. Maybe even Best Picture. We'll see what happens. You know, a lot of you know biopics get nominated for Best Picture. So, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing this getting Best Picture nom at least. And definitely I want to see Taron get nominated for his performance as Elton. And, you know, maybe makeup. Because there's a lot of... Oh, makeup and costume. Makeup and costumes. It wouldn't surprise me if they get a Best Original Song nom for I'm Gonna Love Me Again, which is a song that Elton created for the movie to play during the end credits. Yeah, it's just... This is just a really solid, fun movie. If you're a big fan of Elton John, go see this. If you like musical biopics, you'll probably like this. You know, I don't know, and you know, just go watch it. It's really fun. It's a fun movie. The music is great, which I feel like a dumbass saying because again, it's Elton John music, and Elton John music is great. And you know, it's got great performances, and you know, it's an interesting film to watch. You know, it's not your average biopic, so go check it out. Oh, gosh, my hair still looks like shit. Holy cow! I should just shave it all off. Wow. Yeah, I look like shit. I look like fucking shit. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for the video today. Thanks for watching. I love you. These smooches. This is for you.